nice surprise for you guys to meet up here.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you guys talked about it already, but
Nope.
nice. Yeah. So how you doing? Yeah.
Good. How about you?
I'm not bad. Kevin, how you doing?
Doing all right.
Thank you guys both for coming here. I think we'll see a lot more of Kevin on the episode, so it should be fun. You got plans for today? 4th of July weekend. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go hit the backside of Flat Top a little later today. Yeah.
Nice.
So like where that Rabbit Creek Trail starts. Yeah, or Rabbit Lake.
Nice. So you start from there, or you have to go up the normal flat top way?
No, it's the backside, so it's just more straight up, I think.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
How have you done it before?
No, haven't done it before.
Nice. You've done the regular way, I'd assume, right?
Regular way a couple times. Yeah.
Nice. You guys do like a lot of like hiking or biking stuff for the MMA team at AGA together?
We've started to do more this year. Last year we did a flat top run, and that was sick.
Yeah.
We need to get back and do that again.
Yeah. I saw you guys doing like bike rides.
We've been doing
a few
bike
guys
rides
at least,
this
right?
year. Yeah.
Nice. And then so like started last year, but this year's when it really got into it.
Yeah, I like to bike, so I was like, hey, we're going biking. I don't really care what you guys say.
Yeah, we're just going.
Yeah, we're going.
Yeah, I like to bike too. We did the coastal trail like back and forth. So
how far is that?
So
it goes a ways, right?
Yeah,
like downtown to Sand Lake.
Yeah.
We started down there by 49th State and went all the way up to the chalet at Kincaid. I think it's 10 miles there, a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then another 10 back.
Good for you guys.
Yeah. Well, once you get there, it's downhill on the way back.
Yeah, the downhill isn't
Good for you guys for making it uphill on the way there. I would not make it.
It was rough, dude.
Is the chalet the end of it?
Yeah.
Or does it keep going?
Yeah, I mean, you can keep going. So technically, Anchorage has the Moose Trail, and it's just a big circle around Anchorage in the shape of a moose. And we were on that, so we could have kept going and ended up.
How far is that?
I think it's 23 miles total all the way around.
Oh, that doesn't seem too bad.
No,
I mean, it's 3 extra miles, right?
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Nice, man. You guys should do that one.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think we're talking about doing like the Crow Pass.
Fuck, man. So are me.
Everybody wants to do it.
I threw it out to my morning class. Like, I wanted to do it. Like, at first I wanted my wife to do it with me, and then not a huge hiker. Like, she's more of just like a trail walker, if anything. And then I was like, you know what, maybe I do it by myself. And she shut it down real quick. Yeah. But then I threw it out to my morning class, like just to everyone there. And a few people jumped on, but they wanted to do it. I put out like we could do it this weekend or we could do it next weekend. And this was like a month ago. And everyone was like, yeah, the next weekend, the July 8th weekend. And I looked and, Volk versus Yair is on that card.
I was
like,
that.
I can't miss the 4th of July card, guys. I'm sorry. So I got to figure out another time to do it. My sister wanted to do it. She's up in town right now for, until Sunday, so the day after. But she wants to do it in like one day. And I'm not up to par on that. I think it's like 12 hours or 13 hours for like if you wanted to do it in one day. Yeah. But 27 miles or something. Yeah. And then it'd be funner for me like if I just went over and, camped in the middle of nowhere in the middle of like the mountains, and I thought it'd be a lot more fun. Like, so do 6-7 hours one day, wake up, and then the rest the next day, and you could stop, take a ton of breaks.
I'm pretty sure that's what we did. Me and my wife and her friend and my friend, we went and did it. And we started, and it started downpouring pretty good. So we set up our tent right in the middle, like maybe a quarter of the way up, and camped there and camped back out. But it was rough.
Yeah, so one day would be too much for me. 2 days would be fun though. I think it'd be really cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been out for 2 days. So.
Yeah, you've never done it before?
No, I've never done it before.
All right.
No, I've always wanted to though.
Yeah, do you bike? We'll go back to the biking thing. Is like bike regularly, or is that more of a new thing?
I bike. I've been biking for like 3 years now. I think.
Okay.
It's pretty steady, but
it's just part of like a conditioning routine.
Yeah, conditioning, just like some active rest kind of thing. And I like to go up on the mountain. I think a lot of them are like street bikers.
Yeah, I like to road bike.
Yeah,
that's what I was doing before I started doing jits and MMA. I was biking a lot.
Yeah, so like the river and trails in the mountains and stuff.
Yeah, so I live like at the end of Elmore. There's a trail that goes all the way up to Hilltop.
Oh, nice.
So I can ride up the hill and then ride back down.
And it's all through the woods.
Yeah, all through the woods.
That sounds like it'd be a lot funner.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, and it goes up like by Trail Side and like Service High.
Yeah,
like you kind of pass them. So
right on. It's like the middle of the woods, or it's like skirt the road or something.
It's kind of like a trail.
Okay.
Kind of like trail walking and stuff. I seen some. I went out to Girdwood and I saw they had some mountain bike trails out there, but I haven't hit any of those.
Yeah, my wife likes Girdwood. Like anytime she wants to hike, which her definition of hiking is completely different than mine. Like it's her hiking's just trail walking.
Yeah.
Where like I assume hiking means uphill. it. So
not all the time. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, either or.
Yeah, little hills.
Yeah, for me, it's got to have some hills. Like I don't want to just go on a walk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But my sister and I, we did. She got a little ticket to run Mount Marathon.
Oh, nice.
So part of the deal, if you get like the drawing or whatever, you have to go walk it or do it beforehand so you can see it. So we went and did that on, I don't know what day it was, maybe like last Tuesday or Wednesday, and it was like raining the entire time. So if you've never done it before, like the bottom half's all through the woods and it's a really narrow trail. So how they get these hundreds of people at a time to run this is like, that's got to be the dangerous
That's the one
part.
in Seward where they're running up the mountain, right?
Yeah, and then back down.
And then back down.
That is the crazy
So back down,
race,
like any hike, right? Like back down is the easy part. Like, but getting up it, and it's, I guess going down the bottom half is pretty rough also. But the bottom half, it's a narrow trail for the most part through the woods until you get to like the open part of the mountain. And it was like an inch thick of just pure mud. And like if you don't have like those grippy like Solomon shoes or like some cleats or something, like it's rough. Like we were like trying to get grips on everything just to pull ourselves up. And then the second half's pretty rough too, but it's just like it's open. And as the way down, like the way up's pretty hard the whole time. It's just like jagged rocks and like granite and whatnot. But you get to the top and like it's not as bad as you would think it would when you hear about like all the injuries on it. But like I said, the injuries, I'm pretty sure come
that's
from
what I
like
always hear about
1,000 people running this thing, which is ridiculous. It was tough for like, if people like were to pass us as we were going up, like you'd have to stand like up in like the bushes and stuff. Like it's a 1-person wide trail the whole way up.
Yeah.
The first half anyway. On the way down, it's like 6 inches deep of like gravel and rocks. So like you can run it and you're pretty much just trying to run faster than you could fall type of deal. Yeah. But it goes pretty quick the way down. The way up was rough though. Super fun.
The trail looks so terrifying though, watching the people run it from the ground and you're like seeing the small dots of people just get further up the mountain.
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy one, but it was fun like to do if you were just like hiking it casually. Like I said, I couldn't imagine doing Mount Marathon with like racing, no, not at all. Man, so let's other strength and conditioning stuff. Just while we're on that, it's like a routine. You got to work out together, or
I mean, we're in the gym quite a bit. In
AGA,
at AGA, and so like our striking, like the striking on throughout the week, that's usually pretty conditioning focused, and then our MMA training is like more the hands-on and the technique style stuff.
Yeah, when you guys are doing like the MMA classes, the training, are you doing like specific? Is it like just a wide range of everything, or is there like a MMA grappling day, a MMA striking day, or how does that work out for you guys?
It kind of just depends on how Josh feels that day. Like if he sees people are not doing good at one thing, we'll maybe do a week of that.
Yeah.
Like next week, people are sucking at grappling, so we'll do some MMA grappling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and depends on who shows up too. And, some days we might have more wrestlers, or some days we might have more strikers.
Yeah, I've seen like the video you guys are posting. Like it seems like you guys get a pretty decent turnout there for the most part.
For the most part, it's kind of died out now that it's starting to get a little better.
Yeah, but I mean yesterday was better, right?
Yeah, there was only 4 of us there yesterday, and I was one of the only 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the MMA team gets pretty big too. I mean, not people who have like had fights, but people who are like want to fight.
Just in there, do it,
and that are just like grinding.
Yeah. Do you guys have guys in there or girls, but people in there who are taking the classes just to take them, or are they all just they want to fight?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that just come to classes.
One guy we have, Abel. Him and his son come in and they do the striking, they do jits, they do MMA, they spar, and they just come to do it.
Nice. How old's the son?
I think he's
like a teenager.
Yeah, he's just about there. He's a little younger, but kid's a trooper. Dangerous.
Nice, yeah, that's a good age. Like when you start, like kids start like picking up and like knowing what they want and the hobbies they want to actually get into. So that's a cool age to do it.
And I think they came over from like ABA, so they had some boxing background.
Oh, nice.
So yeah.
Cool. You guys ever go there? Like, how do you guys feel about cross training?
I like cross training. I don't know. I'm not a big boxer. I don't.
Yeah.
I had a boxing match, but I don't like boxing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've heard ABA nothing but good things about it.
Yeah, me too. Do they have 2 locations? Or is it because it used to be on Diamond, right?
That's the only one that I know of. Is the one on Diamond.
I heard someone talking about it, and they were like, "No, it's in like this different location." But I don't know. Like I kind of felt like they were talking about like that Jimmy's boxing or Daniel's boxing.
That was over there on Fireweed.
Yeah. That's what I think they were talking about.
I think they moved from like Old Seward or something.
The Daniels boxing?
Yeah, I believe so.
Man, that must have been a while ago, right? Because they've been on
I don't
Fire
know.
Week
They've
for
been
a
on
few
Fire Week
years,
for
right?
a long time.
Yeah,
the
they've
only time I've ever been to Daniels was when I was in like middle school, and my friend went there, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll come box with you."
Yeah. Do you have boxing matches too?
I have boxing matches, mostly just to check and see where my striking is.
Yeah, is that
for my MMA?
You were like pushed to do the boxing match, or was it like on your own
It
terms?
was like a cherry popper kind of thing, is what Josh called it, just to like get the nerves and get it out of the way.
That's good though.
But it's a Thursday night fight. It was either that or MMA.
Yeah.
And Josh wanted me to get more confident in my hands anyway, because I would rather kick people than punch them.
Good for you.
And your guy had a lot of fights too.
Yeah.
So.
Nice. Yeah.
Apparently he had fought Nick twice, right?
Yeah, we fought once, but he beat me. He was like my third fight or something.
In a boxing match or MMA fight?
It was an MMA fight, yeah. It was the only MMA fight I've ever lost.
When you did boxing, what weight was it at?
It's fluctuated. So I had my first fight, I was like 260.
Oh, shit.
But that was an MMA fight, and then I think I fought Devin Paulson at like 185 or something.
Okay.
Who hasn't he fought?
Been going down
And just kept going down?
Yeah.
Because we talked last week briefly, and like for some reason I thought it was like 170 or bigger, but I obviously used to be bigger.
Yeah.
And then you're like, no, 135. I was like, fuck, I'm stupid.
Yeah, 35 is going to be new because
okay.
Like, so the last fight was 145, and the last time I competed there was like back in high school. I went to nationals and I was 140
for wrestling. Awesome, man. So is that like your background started was in wrestling?
Yeah, I started in wrestling in middle school, and then I started taking Jiu Jitsu just to help my wrestling, and it just built from there. I just kept adding to it, boxing and Muay Thai.
Yeah. What made you want to get into wrestling in high school?
My dad said I was too small to do football.
Oh, really?
So I was like, hey, wrestling, So and then my little brother, he did some wrestling. He played football.
Little did he know you would turn out to be 260 and fight MMA, right?
Yeah, that was from.
I'll show you, Dad.
Yeah, that was from a long break.
Yeah.
Just not staying active, not being in the gym.
It's like that out of high school break. Like,
exactly.
If you're not careful with that break,
it could last forever.
Yeah. So next fight, first one at 135, and then. Like, so when we talked briefly last week, you were talking about trying to challenge for the 135 belt, right?
Yeah, it wasn't it was just kind of mentioned, fight for the belt out in Wasilla for 135.
That ace card, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, the ace card, and because Fairbanks is pretty far away. And,
it is far.
I don't know when they're doing another AFC, but
yeah, I keep seeing stuff. Like we had her on early on when the podcast first started, so earlier this year sometime, and she was hoping to have dates when she came in, but she didn't get it like everything squared away quite yet. But I saw a post from her a couple weeks ago, and she was like, "Big news coming soon." But then in that post, it had a picture of Terrence. So I don't know if the big news was Terrence getting a fight in the UFC on the 4th of July card.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was the big news, but. I mean, we're waiting. I should reach out back.
And they had one of their other belt holders, I think the 55 belt holder.
Yeah.
In that same picture. So, and they had the people from the TV show. So it could have been.
So that's what I thought. I was like, well, maybe it's part of the TV show. And then the news came out for Terrence. I was like, well, maybe it's that. Originally, you're like, all right, it's got to be dates, right? Like, maybe you're filming a promo out there, doing like a commercial because they're talking about like the local TV station picking up that show. So I mean, everyone's just patiently waiting right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, three opportunities soon coming for his fight card. So especially for you guys, that's big news, right?
Yeah.
Because you still haven't had an MMA fight, right?
Nope.
Like you were trying and you were on it.
I was trying. We were out on the card, the last card. Or maybe it was the card before that, and the guy couldn't get cleared to leave his
It's like
in-house rehabilitation home, I guess.
Oh.
So down or something, I don't know.
Nice.
Couldn't come fight, and then they were supposed to have another guy as backup, and he just never showed up to the weigh-ins.
Yeah. What weight was that at? 145?
45, yeah.
Nice.
I think it actually would have been 55 because Josh didn't want me to cut the extra 10 pounds that we didn't know if someone was going to be there.
I could see, especially like first fight too. Like you're gonna try to make it as easy as possible.
Yeah, and I've already fought at 55 anyway. So
yeah. Nice. How far of a stretch would it be for you to get to 145?
It would have only been maybe 8 pounds.
That's not
It would
bad.
have been like 30 minutes in the sauna, if that.
Yeah. And then for you going down to 135, like What's your walk around weight like on average?
Well, right now I'm kind of like 170, but I just I had broke my hand in January.
Yeah.
In that last fight, so there was like trying to get back in the gym, but I like to kind of stretch mine out. Like I'd rather get lower in weight and then not have to cut so much at the end.
For sure.
So so I'll be like starting my cut now.
Yeah.
Just doing it gradually.
And just doing like a nice diet all the way until
then nice diet, and then pretty much that's all I need is the diet, and then I just like train so much already. So
yeah. Before you broke your hand, what was your walk around weight? Is it always just kind of around 170?
It was more like in the 60s.
Okay.
Because I was getting ready for those lower weight classes.
Yeah. So diet wise, to get down there, like do you stay on a pretty strict diet year round, or is it like you're gonna splurge out and do what you want until it's time?
Yeah. So when I lost all my initial weight, it was like no sweets or any junk for like like over a year. And it was just that's really what dropped me down. But now I kind of I like food, so I'm always eating sweets and stuff. So
you're not afraid to get hooked back on the food?
Yeah, no, I shouldn't be eating so much, but I do.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys are in there like every day sweating it out, and like I said, doing it active, even like your recovery days, like bike rides and stuff, then I mean, as long as you're careful. I mean, the bad thing is like all food is just poison now, right?
Yeah,
like it's horrible.
Oh,
like I can't even like going to the grocery store is kind of disgusting, just because everything you're buying is just like some crazy additives. It's just made to make you unhealthy.
Yeah. Even the fruits and vegetables are kind of iffy sometimes.
I'm sure. Yeah. And then the crazy thing is like now like your frozen fruits and vegetables are like cheaper than your fresh ones, and that's not even like a now thing. It's just like how it always has been.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's still fruits and vegetables and you're putting like labor into it and packaging into it, like how is that?
Why is it
cheaper?
not?
Like
yeah.
How much of that's actually fruits and vegetables, and how much of that's just fake garbage and chemicals, right? So as far as MMA, so you started wrestling in high school. Was that was the first kind of like combat sport you did?
Yeah.
And then jiu-jitsu to help that. When did you get into the striking and all that?
Well, so I did start in jiu-jitsu, and then I started just taking some boxing lessons, here and there.
At the same gym, or went somewhere else?
This was actually at Gracie Baja.
Okay, man, so way back.
Yeah, so I was under Ted. I got my blue belt under Ted, and then Luke Ramber was, showing me some boxing and stuff. I just went from there, and then I started doing judo. I have a couple of judo state championship.
I've seen you at judo matches before. My wife used to do judo. Pretends she's going to do it again, but used to be in it. And I think that's maybe where I first saw you. Besides maybe Legacy, like open mats or something, when it was on the East location at Boniface. But yeah, I saw you doing judo. Was that same thing, just to like hop in and just wanted to compete?
Yeah, I found that like my wrestling. It beat a lot of judo guys.
Yeah.
And that's why, I think they've changed the rules since,
that's right here.
You can't change you can't double leg, you can't single leg, and stuff like that.
You're not allowed to go for the legs, I think.
Yeah. But back when I was doing it, we still were allowed to. So.
Oh, so that change is recent then, huh?
I mean, that was a long time ago. I think one of them was like 2012.
Okay.
This guy's old.
Yeah, I'm pretty old.
How old are you?
29. Yeah, I'll be 30 this year.
Yeah. I'm 34, so.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. The judo stuff, after the judo competitions, after like the little bit of boxing and everything else in the past, and obviously like you're combining all this stuff together, just slowly transition, like MMA was what you wanted to do?
Yeah.
Or like just along that process of competing and everything else, you'd figured it would work out?
I've always kind of liked it, and when I was in high school, Andy Enns, I think I was a freshman when he was a senior, and he was doing really well in the AFC and stuff, and so that was just kind of like, that's pretty close, so I was like, used it like, hey, I could do that too, kind of thing, and and then you got like street fights and stuff that always happened, and I'd always done pretty well in those too, so
that's how I thought I'd be good in the AFC, or just MMA in general, and I found out it's not the same at all.
Oh yeah, it's way different. Yeah, especially when you get in the ring for the first time too. It's just like a totally different feeling.
Yeah, like I wish the guy across from me in the cage was just some idiot in the street fight I happened to come up on. That was just going to
throw haymakers.
Yeah. My third fight, that's kind of what he did, but the first two guys, they were actually like trained to fight and do all this, and I was the idiot. I was like, oh man, this is not working out well. And then she called back again, and same thing. Like, I turned out to be the idiot who just wasn't training hard, thought that street fights would carry over.
Yeah.
And the minimal training I was doing would also just like, oh, that'll just help out what I need. And then found out quickly that that's not the case. So the third fight, those were at 170. And at the time, I was like in high school, I was like 195 and was like, in good shape, like weight trained every day, played sports. So like I was like a really solid 195. And then out of high school, you take that break and you don't do shit. So I turned into like a really out of shape, like 190, 195. So to cut down to 170, I was like, that's enough. And then after I dieted down to 170, which was a horrible diet, I just kind of stayed around there. So then I didn't have to cut as much weight next time when she called like back a month later maybe. So took another fight at 170 because they offered it. And I didn't want to turn it down. I was like, well, no, I need to do this. The third one, I was like, no, 145. Like, we're going to get down. And that fight went good and, took it more seriously and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, quickly found out that those don't translate over. And I was the idiot trying to throw like haymakers or just walk in blindly and not know anything I'm doing.
Yeah.
So,
Man.
Yeah. Crazy times. So what do you do outside MMA? Like hobbies, secret talents? What do you like to do?
I've been doing flooring, for a while. I work at Flowcraft Carpet One. So they do a lot of home improvement kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that keeps me pretty busy. I've been over there for over 10 years now, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's kind of like where the money comes from.
Yeah.
And then, just trying to stay out and, get out and bike and hike and stuff like that too. But most of my time's at work in the gym. So
yeah,
it's kind of hard to find other stuff to.
Yeah. So big hobby outside of that is just biking, just active stuff.
Yeah, biking. I kind of like. I collect like gold jewelry and stuff like that too. That's
I was gonna say, bro, this watch is nice, dude.
Yeah, I've been building this one since I was
oh man, that's
middle
cool.
School, yeah. So.
Nice. I feel like that was a thing. Like when I was in middle and high school, was like getting watches and rebuilding them and taking pieces from other ones.
Yeah.
I guess that's maybe just every person in middle school and high school type of deal then.
Yeah, I kind of always wanted one, and then so it's just because they're kind of expensive, so you just build up and buy piece by piece.
Yeah, you build a Rolex.
Yeah, not yet. That's a goal.
Is that the goal?
Yeah, there's a goal. Yeah.
Nice. I mean,
one of the
working towards something.
Yeah, one of the cheaper Rolex.
Don't like the values go down if like they're pieced together?
Probably.
Yeah, I'd be trying to get a stock Rolex for sure. But like this one, I think this is like gold from like Kenai, so it's kind of like more of an Alaskan.
Yeah, like a sentimental piece type of deal.
Yeah,
it's got the Alaska flag on it and everything.
Yeah, and if you look around, you see a lot of like older guys have them and stuff too. But,
like that one.
Yeah, and they're like more like theirs are more like vintage and stuff. So
yeah,
they've been around a little while.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just so we don't miss out, it'd be nice to start throwing in like not segments, but just talking about the fight cards coming up. So I would like to start with your shirt though, Colby Covington.
Colby Covington. I wanted to wear my Leon Edwards shirt, but
man, Colby's the man.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, I like Kobe. I think the first time he fought Usman.
Yeah. Dude, that was a fight.
Yeah.
Such a good one.
I think he was going to win if he just could make it to that bell. Though.
Yeah. It was like the last couple minutes of the fifth round, was it?
Yeah, and he got broken jaw. And
man, that was a tough one, man. Such a good fight. I wanted him to win it just because, I don't like his like screaming and like the over the top, like trying too hard to be like the heel because, you don't have to try that hard.
No.
But, like he can fucking fight.
Yeah.
And he's the man. So if he wasn't still just over the top, like I think he'd come across still much better to people. Like if he just came across like a Chael Sonnen type of deal to where like everything he says is clever, but everything he says isn't clever at all.
If it was less political too, I feel like more people would also
really
like
rides
him.
that Trump thing real hard. And hey, if you want to be a Trump fan or a whoever fan, that's perfectly cool. Like it really doesn't matter like in any way. But if that's all you're screaming at people and like, I went to the White House and I know Trump, he called me, and it's just
I'm Trump's favorite fighter.
I'm his favorite fighter. And I doubt it. I bet Jorge's probably his more favorite fighter.
But, I have heard that too.
Yeah. But yeah, so Colby's the man.
I saw a post
Leon
that said
Edwards
he
fan?
hadn't fought.
Yeah, ever since he knocked out Usman. So,
See. I think that's probably why anyone ever knew who he was after that.
I wanted Leon Edward to beat Usman from the jump.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm not an Usman fan either. Like same thing. Like his fighting style is real similar to Colby, but he tries so hard on the microphone, and not to like over the top and to be a heel, but like his try hard is like it's just really like disingenuine.
Yeah,
you know? Like I can't even imagine he believes the things he does, and every time he talks, he just has this like weird voice to him, and like, oh, I'm the greatest ever, Joe, and all this stuff. Is just like, why? What are you doing right now? Like, that's not who you are.
Yeah, I kind of like that he started like knocking people out though.
That was nice. Yeah, like to be such a good wrestler and to get into that. Like obviously it didn't fare well with him in like the last couple fights, but I mean, to be able to be like, you know, that level of wrestler and then be so confident in your hands and actually like translate it over. And I don't know if that was just working with like Trevor Whitman and them because he started at Top Team, right?
Yeah, so
the Black Zillions.
Yeah, the Black Zillions. I was watching the Black Zillions versus ATT Ultimate Fighter, and Kamaru Usman didn't look nearly as good as he looks now.
Like in my head I want to be like, no, he sucked there. But like all he did was wrestle. Like he was a decision fighter. But then like after he got out and like I don't know like what happened because he stayed with the Black Zillions for a bit and just everything just elevated and man like really got good then.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, on the show like I hated him on the show. I was hoping he would lose just because same thing. I think he had that weird persona, like made up persona, but it was just like I said, it wasn't genuine. And then you're gonna go out and just like wrestle people. It was like the GSP thing. Like after he got the title, like he just wanted to decision people and like he just wanted to like fight to win, or fight to not lose, I guess would be it. But yeah, point fight, and it was just like rubbed me the wrong way. Like any GSP fight he went into, like I was just like, I hope you lose today. Like even to Jake Shields, I was like, I hope Jake Shields beats your ass, and like I don't think Jake Shields beats anybody's ass. So fight card coming up, 4th of July card. Main event is Volkanovski versus Yair. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a good one.
Do you think Yair deserved to have the interim title? Because Volk was out of that division for just a few months. Like it wasn't like he was injured, he wasn't going to come back. I think they just needed something to put on that card to like sell the card, right?
Yeah.
So
mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, it kind of like rubbed me the wrong way. Like obviously he's a great fighter and he won the fight, but to put that title on the line for that fight, it was too much for me.
Yeah, you could have just made it a title contender fight.
Exactly, just be a number one contender fight. Like
title.
Like I said, Volk, he's been out of the division for
he had said
like
he was going to go to
maybe.
lightweight and try and dominate lightweight, but we all knew he was just going to fight.
But then he said he wanted to go to lightweight and then defend both belts and stay active. Like his big things, he always wanted to been active, right?
Yeah.
So like let him go fight there, and every like 3 months, like I'm sure he'd be down to just jump back and forth. So a lightweight title fight every 6 months and featherweight title fight every 6 months.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Like that's kind of what it is already, right? Yeah. So like the champions aren't fighting like as much as he wants to fight.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd been better, but like it's going to be a great fight. Like,
oh yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Yeah. Who you guys think wins that?
I think Volk's pretty good.
Volk's the man right now for me.
But I mean, I think anybody could beat anybody. It just depends. You know?
Yeah.
Somebody could be having a bad day.
I like to go
could have a good
for
day.
everyone who they think isn't going to win, so I'm going to go for Yair.
Yeah. Well,
I like to think the kicks are going to get it.
I think that's the only thing he has to worry about, though, is those kicks. And they're great kicks, right? Like they're, they're flashy, unpredictable. So I mean, like his kicking game's like off the charts, but I don't think his striking is going to necessarily, like his hands anyways. Boxing is going to hang with Volk.
Yeah.
And I don't think his ground game is going to hang with Volk either, because Volk was like on the Australian like champion in wrestling, I believe.
Yeah.
And him and Robert Whittaker too, surprisingly.
Yeah, he's training with Craig Jones.
Yeah. And I mean, if it's obviously a little bit different, but if like you're not going to get subbed by Brian Ortega, I don't imagine you getting subbed by Yair, but or getting like dominated necessarily by Islam, like in the wrestling. Like if you can stop that wrestling and you can stop Brian Ortega's jiu-jitsu, I don't see you having a big problem on the ground.
No.
But he was in some deep submission, so I mean, all it would take is someone like really like locking on that submission to not be able to get out. But to get into that fully locked triangle that Ortega had him in, then I mean, shit, maybe who knows about Volk? Like I said, right now for me, he's the man.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I like to throw things, shake things up. I like to see things change.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Nice. So if you had to put money on it, you'd put it on Yair?
No, I'd put money on Volk.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But I'd like to see Yair win.
Really? I don't even want to see him win. I wasn't a fan of him even from when he was on the Latin Ultimate Fighter show.
Oh, I didn't watch that one.
Wasn't a big fan of him on that. I don't think I actually watched the show. I just saw highlights because I think the first Latin America show wasn't even televised here. I don't think there was a really way to watch it. It was one of those shows, but that might have been the Brazil season. But ever since he got in, I just thought he was like a little too cocky for me, and for no reason at all. It seemed like flashy, yeah, and doing good, but when you put him against like someone who's like, all right, this is your time to step up, like it just wouldn't go his way. And that would be like the Holloway fight, or I think he fought Ortega too, and I don't honestly remember if he won that fight.
I don't remember.
Do you remember when he fought Jeremy Stevens? So this was probably 3 years ago, I guess. I'm making that timeline up. Mm-hmm. But he fought Jeremy Stevens. No, he didn't fight him. Maybe they did fight, and Jeremy got poked in the eye, I think, in like the opening round. And so Jeremy couldn't continue, which was believable because like, if you get poked in the eye, like sometimes it's fine. Mm-hmm. And like you take a little bit of time and it's fine and it's open. His was like that point where like it was just those reflexes and his eye wouldn't even open up. And like it went on for the full like 5 minutes they gave him, and eventually they're like, no, you can't fight.
That's messed
up. But you could tell like it was a bad one. He says I wouldn't even open, and Yair like got all like, one, you poked him in the eye, right? You can't act like it's his fault. Like you did the foul, and Yair's like screaming at him, acting like like he's like some pussy or something that like didn't want to continue. And like it was like I said, opening round, like you couldn't even tell how the fight was really going to go. Mm-hmm. And that's Jeremy Stevens is he's a monster. Like he has huge power. Used to have a pretty good chin, and so I mean that fight could have gone either way. And then in the back, after the fight was over, they like passed each other in the hotel lobby or something. And Yair like got in his face and was screaming at him again and like trying to fight him in the hallway. And after that, I was like, nah, not for me.
It's like, bro, that's on you.
That's on you. You did the foul, right? Like you can't get mad at the other guy. So
yeah, it's only cool when the Diaz brothers do it.
Yeah, it's only cool. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what you expect,
Yeah.
Did you watch the fight night card last night?
Man, I didn't watch. We had family over in town for probably another week. Like my aunt's in town too, my sister, her husband, and all their kids. So we just like barbecued out front last night.
Nice.
I was actually trying to get to put it on like while we were here, but just couldn't figure out how to like load it on the laptop. Like the phone is like super easy, and you just go back, or even on like on the TV, the little Apple iHome or whatever it's called. But on this computer, we just couldn't figure it out.
The only real good fight that I saw was the Strickland fight.
Dude, I'm not even a fan of Strickland either.
I like the Strickland fight.
Like
that
I feel
the only good fight.
So I feel like Strickland's pretty like disingenuous also. I feel like he tries too hard to act like he's not trying hard. Like he's like,
sometimes,
I don't even care type of attitude. Yeah. But like I can tell how hard you're trying. Like you obviously do care. And like he just tries to be so over the top, but he pretends like that's who he is. And I'm like, I don't actually think like that's who you are. And if it is, like you've just pretended so long, you've turned into like some dickhead,
Yeah.
I don't know. I love Strickland. I love the character he plays. He's like a Chael Sonnen, but like not as good.
Like the Wish version of Chael Sonnen, like the super trashy version of Chael Sonnen.
The white trash, not Oregon, the mean streets of Westland.
Yeah, I don't know where he'd even be from, either Kentucky or something.
Yeah,
like
I have no idea.
Streets, the mean haulers of Kentucky. I don't know how that works, but yeah, not a fan of him. Like, and I don't want to say his fighting is not good, right? Because he's top 10 and he beat some good guys.
Just beat Abu Magomed, right? Is his name?
Who would know? Right?
Yeah, right.
I bet the announcers didn't even know who he was. Like John Anik probably had to study for days on that one.
Yeah.
But like you're main eventing against like some guy that I personally never heard of, and I consider myself more than like a casual fan. And when they announced this card, I was like, they're just reaching for this. Like Sean Strickland, like, and I want to say he's like maybe 2-2 in his last 4 fights or
I think
so.
He needed a win, and he got the TKO.
Yep, and you gave him the perfect opponent to get a win, right? Like,
well, a lot of people were saying that Magomed was supposed to walk through him.
Yeah, he was gassed at,
I bet they say that about anyone with that name. They're like, oh, he's gonna walk through him.
Yeah,
he's a Magomed, you know.
Those teeth
he knows
were nasty.
Khabib. And was it the first round or was it the second round?
Second round. It was like closer towards the end of the second, like the last minute.
And it was just like, I think, did he knock him clean out?
So it was so funny. It's a perfect example of protect yourself at all times.
Yeah.
He stopped, like Abu stopped and he like wiped his nose, and as soon as he went to wipe his nose, Strickland lunged in with the 2.
Nice.
And caught him, and he slipped, and he just pounded him out from there.
I'm gonna rewatch it later for sure, but good for him. I mean, like that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
So it's Chael Sonnen. Speaking to him, he used to have Submission Underground on Fight Pass.
Dude, I wish he brings that back.
I liked it because, like, you know, I'm just a really big grappling fan. I hated the rule set. 5 minutes isn't enough time at like a high level of grappling to really get stuff going. And then you go into EBI rules, and EBI rules are not a huge fan of, because if you just stall for regulation, you get to EBI.
Yeah.
All you have to do is be better at like escaping the back or arm bar.
Oh yeah.
And it's, like I said, not my favorite rule set. I enjoyed it just because like it's big names in grappling, and it was fun. And like Craig Jones and big names
Mason
in
Fowler.
there. Yeah, and Mason Fowler, who gamed the rules.
Yeah.
And then finished in overtime.
Yeah.
But I mean, good for him on finishing it. But at the same time, you should have finished in regulation. But 5 minutes just isn't enough. I did like that Chow brought in a Wrestling Underground for one show, and then something happened with him in Fight Pass, and like they screwed him during the COVID times or something. But Sean Strickland had a match on Submission Underground.
Yep, I saw that one.
With Andy Varela.
Yep.
And Andy Varela, like, if people don't know who he is, like, in grappling, like, that guy's always a show. Like, comes out to win, fast-paced the whole time, just crazy, like, you know, high moves, like, to where, like, he's wants to put on a show, right? Yeah. And Sean Strickland was playing Sean Strickland and got carried away, like, turned his back to him and, like, just... slept on him for a second, and Andy jumped on his back and locked in this rear naked choke, and within a few seconds, like, Sean had to tap. And I was so happy about that, just because I already
so funny. It was so funny.
Yeah. So now he's like, oh, I'm going to take advantage of this when people do that. Like, so I was happy to see that though. But yeah, I got to rewatch it, and I'll do it later. But like, that was the only like big fight on the card. It felt like, and even that wasn't a huge fight. Like, it's one top 10 guy who's 50-50 in his last handful of fights, fighting a guy that nobody's ever really heard of and who's not ranked. Yeah. And then lower on the card, they had Kevin Lee come back.
Yeah, and he got knocked out.
He got like choked out, right? Or
no, I think he got put to sleep.
Did he get?
Oh, okay. Oh no, that was a choke. I think it was.
Or maybe, I don't know if he gave. I saw highlights, and it was quick clips and just like YouTube swiping. But he got put in like this front, like his power guillotine, and I don't know if he went out in the guillotine or he gave up position and then got knocked out from that.
I remember seeing the highlight. He got dropped, and then he got put in the guillotine, and then they.
Poor Kevin Lee though, because at once upon a time, like, people thought like he would be like a real big thing coming in making waves, and I just don't ever feel like he cracked like the top 5. Like, he stayed in like the lower half of the top 10 maybe, got like some good fights, and then just kind of started shitting the bed, and then obviously got released from UFC, went to fight in Khabib's promotion, that Eagle promotion, and fought Diego Sanchez. I don't know, and barely beat Diego Sanchez, who's 100 years old. Yeah. And like, that should have said it all right there. Like, if you're not beating this guy, like, at least decisively to where like people aren't questioning it. I don't know what deal he made with the UFC to come back. Yeah. Like, I don't even think it was a last minute fight, because I heard about it like over a month ago. Like, I want to say 2 months ago, and you come back and that's what you do. I got to imagine like he was just right back out of the UFC now. Yeah. So
I wouldn't doubt it.
What about Moreno?
Oh, versus Pantoja?
Yeah, because he's already beat him twice.
That's the bad part. Like, I've been a Brandon Moreno fan since that season, The Ultimate Fighter, that he was on. And even though he lost, like, I don't know what stuck out about him. I don't think anything necessarily on the show for me stuck out about Brandon Moreno, besides, you know, like, just the baby face, and he was on it. But while the season was still on, after he lost, so you knew he was out of the season. I think he's still there. But that might be one of the seasons when I think some of the seasons, like when you lost, you just went home, right?
I think that was one of the seasons where you stay.
Okay. And then, but while the season was still on TV, he gets a fight in the UFC card, on the actual card. And I'm like, well, this is weird. Because like I just watched you on Tuesday and now I'm watching you fight on a real card on Saturday, and like the season's still going. And he went on, and I don't remember if he won or lost, but I think he went like 1-1 or 2-2, and then he got cut. And I was like, well, that's a bummer, because like just like that's what made him stand out, is because like I saw him fight in the UFC while the Ultimate Fighter is still on. So like I just felt like a little emotionally invested in him. As far as like anyone else, I couldn't even tell you who was on that season. But then he goes out, wins some fights, and he comes back and he gets brought back, and then he like starts doing good. And I remember the little speech, he was like, I don't know, it won't be today, it won't be tomorrow, it might not be next year, but one day I'll be the champion, I promise you. And I was like, well, that felt like genuine, like gives me a little chills even talking about it. And then he gets the championship and he wins, and like just the emotion he showed, like when he got the belt and the crying, like that got me. Like, and it was like one of those few times like you're watching something, like especially like MMA related, it's like a movie and a setup. It was like it hit you right in the feels. Yeah. And for me, I was like, I'll never go against him. Like, no, that's my guy at 125.
Yeah.
But like you said, he's 0-2 against Pantoja, and I think Pantoja's the guy who knocked him out not knocked him out, but knocked him off the season.
Was it Figgy on that season?
I don't know. I feel like Figueiredo probably came off of a Brazil season, or
I just remember there being a scene where Moreno's
I think Pantoja won it,
talking to somebody, and the dude he's talking to was Brazilian, and Brandon Moreno's obviously Mexican, speaking Spanish, and the dude was speaking Portuguese, and they could kind of understand each other.
Did they coach against each other on a season?
I don't know that Moreno's ever been a coach.
I don't know. I feel like they were coaches at one point. Hey, Google and see if Brandon Moreno and Davison Figueiredo were coaches on the Ultimate Fighter.
Dricus du Plessis and Robert Whittaker. What do you think about that?
So real quick, picks on the Pantoja Moreno fight though.
Moreno.
I'll never go against Moreno.
Yeah, never go against him.
I want Moreno to win. But
it's tough though, right? 0-2. That's a steep hill.
Yeah, and I've only ever seen like highlights, I think, from the last two, so I'll have to maybe watch.
Yeah, and Pantoja, I don't even feel like he's been active, like very active over like the last few years.
I haven't heard his name up until just now.
Yeah, and like the only reason people really know his name right now is because they're throwing in, of course, that he's beat him twice, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, steep hill to climb, and I want Moreno to win, but like hopefully like this inactivity, or maybe it's like one of those things. Like I don't know if you remember when Yushin Okami used to fight, like he fought Anderson Silva for the belt. Yushin got a title shot, and he was on the undercard for like the 5 fights before that, and they gave him a title fight. So I don't think that's what they're doing with Pantoja. I think he's just been inactive.
No, I didn't think so.
Coach. Oh. Man, I don't know then. I don't know why I think that. So they might have been on the season together, but it is so long ago, I couldn't even remember. Yeah. I couldn't tell you another person who was on that season aside from Pantoja, because I'm pretty sure he won it. I think that was his first win over Moreno.
I don't remember. It was so long ago.
So can you pull up the fight card for the next fight card, the 4th of July one? So Dricus and Robert Whittaker. I go against Dricus every single fight. And like the Brunson fight, I went against him, and I thought like just blonde Brunson would come through and he would do something. And it was back and forth. And
right there, Volk Rodriguez.
And the thing is, every fight that I've seen Dricus in, at least the last 2, he gasses out in like the first round. But then like he keeps like this strong pace, even being gassed out, and comes through and just overwhelms them. Mm-hmm. And so it gets me every time. Leave it right there for now. Just to focus on the whole main card. So keep going down until it says prelims. Right there.
Dan Hooker and Jalen Turner.
That should be good. He's only on it because Volk's on it, and it's kind of weird for a Las Vegas card. They're like putting a bunch of like Australian and New Zealand guys on it, especially like when Whittaker and Dan Hooker aren't even like together. But I don't know. They're just trying to push that market again, maybe. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Whittaker though. I still feel like he's like the second best in that division, and it's just for him, it's just unfortunate that Izzy's there.
I'm gonna go with Dricus du Plessis just because
for the same reason.
For the fact that I want Whitaker to fall out of contention, and I want du Plessis to fight Adesanya for the real African title.
I would be down for it. I feel like Dricus was smart enough to understand that he had like a little, like a wedge to get in there and be like, I'm African and I'm more African than you.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, whoa, what did he say? He can't say that.
He's white.
Yeah, he's white. Yeah. But so then everyone's like, oh, he said Kamaru Usman's not African and Ngannou's not African because they don't live there. And Dricus is like, I didn't say that. I just said I still live there, right? I don't think it would be a competitive fight at all. I think
so
Izzy just fucking stomps him quick. But
I think so too.
I'd be interested just to see like a new matchup for Izzy. Unless Cannonier gets the title fight again.
Yeah.
I almost don't even care who fights for the middleweight title. It's kind of one of those situations to where he cleaned out the division, and for the most part, he's beat everyone twice.
Yep.
So it's just like it's time to move on.
He needs new faces, or he needs to.
It was an Anderson Silva problem back in the day, you know, like you beat everybody. No one wants to watch you beat the same guys.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of boring now, unfortunately. Or like the Demetrius Johnson problem, right? Like, so Izzy is like a bigger star, so like he can get like the crowds behind him, but as far as like the fights go, it's just starting not to matter for me.
I think it's funny that he's kind of got the cringe thing going along with him.
Dricus?
No, Adesanya.
Does he?
Yeah.
No.
People kind of think he's like this little fairy and like.
Yeah, and wears pearls and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious.
I don't know how that came along. Like guys wearing pearl necklaces, because I mean, pearl necklace used to mean something back way back when. So, like, I don't know. It's like the guys wearing dresses to press conferences, though. Like, maybe that's just like his toned down version of it, but still a fan.
Yeah.
I still think he's the man.
He is. He's still good.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of the GOATs.
Until Khamzat comes along.
Yeah.
You know?
No way.
Yeah. I think Khamzat
I think he needs some more
annihilates him.
I think he needs more fights, and I think they're doing a good job of like building him up at like a fast pace and not doing like the Paddy Pimblett thing or the Sean O'Malley route, to where like Sean O'Malley's been in the UFC for like 5 years, maybe more, and like he just started fighting like top ranked guys. He was honest about it. He's like, no, why would I fight them if I'm making this? Like, pay me more and I'll fight better guys. And I thought that was pretty cool, just being honest about it. But you spend so long, you put so much money behind him, and you're like forcing him down our throats. Like, I don't even want to like him now. Like, you've ruined him for me. I like him now that he's fighting like top guys, and he's just kind of like, yeah, I'm a dick and I'm better than you. Like, that's pretty fun for me. But the Khamzat one's been like good. I think they've done a good job marketing him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he beats anyone for the title. Just like the Gilbert Burns fight, I felt like Gilbert was, if he did not get dropped at the end of the third round, Gilbert won that fight. But like the third round was so close, like it's one of those ones where like a minute's left and you're like, someone's got to do something big to like seal this round, because it can go either way right now. And then I'm pretty sure Khamzat dropped him at the end of the third, and I was like, fuck Gilbert, what are you doing? Like, how did this happen?
I'd like to think that fight changed Khamzat, and he's like, all right, there's actually dudes that aren't gonna just get annihilated by me, so I actually got to try all the time.
Because like, and I mean, he has like all the right to be like, I'm the best and I'm gonna kill everybody. But then like you get into a fight like that, you're like, I'm probably gonna kill everybody, right? Like, my main training partner is Darren Till. It's probably not getting you as far as you think it is.
Yeah.
But like I don't think he beats. I think he might beat Kamaru now, but I don't think he beat Kamaru.
I don't think he should
2 years ago
170 anymore.
I don't think they should let him. Like, he missed by like 15 pounds or something, right?
I think it was 8, but
oh shit!
But it was a lot.
I thought he came in and they were supposed to have a fight at this weight, and then he missed that weight. I could be making that up, and it could be someone else. Yeah, like he missed it bad enough. I was just like, you didn't even try.
And then he was all nonchalant about it, like, it's not that bad.
Yeah, like Well, I mean,
That's 8 pounds. That's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. Like you were closer to the next weight class than you were this weight class. That's pretty bad.
Well, I think he said that they made him stop, and then I think he was rehydrating. And
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean, you could say anything though, right? Like, oh, they didn't let me.
The doctors said I wasn't allowed to keep cutting.
And first off, were you that bad? Being nearly 10 pounds away, that they were just like, whoa, no way, man.
You can't lose any more weight.
Yeah. You're like a golden boy in the UFC, and they're gonna stop you that far away. Like, you must have been pretty bad anyway.
Maybe you should be up a weight class.
Yeah. And you had fights at 185 anyway. Just fight at 185.
Yeah.
And if you're the man, then go fight these guys. Like, the wrestling's gonna play pretty good at the top of like the 185 division.
I think so
as
too.
far as like the strikers, like, you know, Cannonier, Vettori, Izzy, Robert Whittaker's more of a striker now, even though he was on like the Australian wrestling team.
Yep.
But like, those are the guys you're gonna fight. Like, the wrestling's gonna come in good. Like, Jan, like, obviously Jan's way bigger than Kamzat, but he beat Izzy using grappling. Like, he had the size, but I'd imagine that Russian wrestling's gonna come into play and to do good. But I don't know. I don't think he beats any champion at 170. I also don't think he beats Colby Covington at 170, and I'm waiting for that
would be
fight.
a really good fight.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, I don't think Colby wants it.
I think
Colby's dumb. I love his fighting, but I think he's smart enough to be like, I have an easier route to that title. I'm just gonna sit.
Yeah, and he hasn't fought in like 481 days. It's something I saw in a post.
But he was
today.
supposed to fight someone, right? He was scheduled to fight. Is he fighting Leon?
I doubt it.
I think that's the thing. I think they were, and everyone's mad about it. Like, the guy hasn't even fought. He sat out. His last win was Jorge, and but yes, let's see if that's a thing. I could have swore it was.
But Leon won, then Kobe was like saying he wanted it at the fight.
Yeah, Dana White said it too, though. Dana said like he's like, no, he's next. And like, they were like, what about this rematch, or what about him fighting this guy? He was like, no, Colby's next.
I thought that they were going to give Kamaru Usman the chance at the rematch.
Well, yeah, they gave him the rematch, didn't he? And he beat him by decision.
Yeah, that was just.
They had the immediate rematch, and Leon beat him by decision.
You're right.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
All right, go back to that card. Dricus versus Robert. Who do you guys got? You said Dricus, right?
Dricus.
Nick, who do you got?
I'd say Robert.
I think so too. I think he's just too experienced and still too good, so well rounded. But man, if he comes through and he gasses out in 2 minutes and then comes in and like finishes him in the third round or wins a decision, just no going against him anymore. Jalen Turner and Dan Hooker. You guys know who Jalen Turner is? The Tarantula?
I do know who Jalen Turner is. I've seen him fight a couple times.
Yeah, I think Jalen Turner's pretty good.
Man, that's a good step up for him. I don't think he was fighting top 10 guys. And Dan Hooker, unfortunately, he's kind of on the way out. It seems like.
Yeah, those last couple fights, it looks like he's not doing too good.
Yeah, and Jalen Turner, they're trying to kind of push him. So I think he's a good striker. That's tough.
I think Turner by knockout.
You think so?
Yeah.
I feel like like that reach he has, I feel like he could just keep him at the end of those punches.
Yeah. And I don't know how Hooker's chin is doing.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't feel like he's taking a ton of time off in between fights either, which maybe that would help him. Like, I feel like they just call him, like, you want to fight? He's like, yeah, I'll fight. I shouldn't, but I will. I'm going to go Dan Hooker. We're going to just...
Yeah, I think I'm going to hop on that boat with you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Dan Hooker. I like Dan Hooker.
But I want Jalen Turner to win, though. That's one of those ones. Like, I want this guy to win, but I think Dan will win. Like, Dan's got to win, right? Like, only thing keeping him in the UFC right now is Izzy, I think.
Yeah.
So, like... And your boy can't hang in there for that long with you.
What do you think about Bo Nickel and Trayshawn Gore?
Bo Nickel for sure.
Yeah.
Who even is Trayshawn Gore?
He was the runner-up on his season, The Ultimate Fighter. Who?
Oh, I remember.
It
was Brian Battles.
Yeah, I was trying to think of his last name, but Brian Battle.
Yeah. I remember that.
What a sleeper that guy was on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Like, one fight in, I was like, I think this guy could win.
Yeah.
And, man, he just kept coming out every time. So yeah, Trayshawn Gore, I mean, he was like hyped up on the show, and you could tell they were like trying to focus on him quite a bit. And I think made it to the finale, and Brian Battle beat him. But you should have made Bo Nickel fight Brian Battle then.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, I think Trayshawn Gore has good wrestling, but like the guy's not like some hype. You got to put him against at least someone who won the Ultimate Fighter. Don't put him with someone who lost, even in the finale, which is great, but maybe it's just the same thing. Like Bo Nichols only 4-0, it says, and I remember his first first pro fight was in, I want to say, Island Fights, and it happened while I was in Florida, and he fought this guy from a gym who I think was like kind of a neighbor gym of the gym I was at, like a sister gym or something. I was in Florida, this gym was in Alabama, and fought a guy I believe who was out of there, and he shouldn't have been fighting, in my opinion, at least fighting him, because you could tell this was just like a hometown guy who, isn't ever gonna be in the UFC.
Yeah.
And man, for a wrestler, he knocked him out cold. Just like, I want to say it was just like a 1-2, just straight down the center, and this guy froze and just timbered over.
That's so rough.
But I guess Bo Nichols had like boxing experience. Like he started out as a boxer as a kid, and then obviously like wrestling took over his life. But like he has boxing experience, so like going out and knocking guys out just isn't surprising when you know that.
Dude, it's scary.
Did they make him fight twice in the Contender Series?
Yeah, his first one, they were like,
they gave him like
it was
that
good, but it
developmental deal or something.
Wasn't enough.
Right? Yeah, like you're only like 2-0 right now. Like I want you to have one more. Yeah. And he was all about it. He was like, hey, that's great. That's a win, And I'd imagine just like all American D1 champion, stuff like that. That you just have that confidence, like I'll win that fight too. Not a problem. All right, go down to the prelims. Let's see what's on that.
Robbie Lawler.
Poor guy, man.
Dude, he needs
got
to retire,
dropped down to the dropped down to the prelims.
Oh yeah, what's his name? Just got dropped out of the Jack Maddalena fight because he's got a huge. Sean Brady.
Sean Brady, yep, beat Craig Jones in the grappling match by stalling.
Nasty elbow infection. His elbow's like that big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that sucks. I was hoping they would find a replacement for it. I haven't heard anything about it though, and this close, you got to assume they're not going to, unless they did, and it's just going on the radar.
I think it just came out today that he's off, dropped out. Yeah.
So Jack Della Maddalena, Australian guy, has done some training with Craig Jones at like the Vault Camp. So this was like the chance, like the El Segundo podcast with Craig Jones. He was on it. He was like, like to get the revenge for him, because Sean Brady, like I said, he beat Craig by stalling and kind of like, getting in guard, but it's easy to be defensive, right?
Yeah.
Like submissions happen for the most part in like scrambles and in transitions, and he just didn't let it happen. He just stayed in like a tight like guard, and that was it. It was really a bummer to watch, and it was on Fight Pass, I believe. So you gotta imagine if they're scoring, if it goes to a decision, they're like, we're gonna have the UFC fighter win the UFC Fight Pass show. But so Robbie Lawler, like that guy. Should retire, and I gotta imagine if he loses this one, he'll retire.
I hope so.
Like the guy's had such the career and forever. Like even if he lost this one, like there's no shame on him for like just like that's it for me.
Yeah.
Like if he loses this one and loses another one when he opens up the prelims, well, that's when it's gonna start getting dicey for his like career and everything behind him, right? Nico Price is good though, always fun. I kind of like his personality too, but fuck, I think Nico Price wins that.
I've never heard of Nico Price personally.
I think he will too.
You never? Oh yeah, he's fun.
He has some good fights.
He's good fights, yeah. Like I don't think he's a really good wrestler. Maybe not great when you compare him to like the Khabibs and Khamzats and like Kamaru's and stuff like that, but a really good wrestler. Maybe not great at anything, but he's just solid all around. And I think Robbie's like he's done.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to go Nico Price on that. And he's been doing good too. I think one of his only last like slip ups was a couple of years ago. He got knocked out from the bot. Randy Brown was on the. No, he did it to Randy Brown. He was on his back, and Randy Brown was like standing over, like raining ground and pound. I think he just caught him with his back fist from the bottom and ended up TKOing him.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, always fun fights though, and obviously Robbie Lawler's always in fun fights, but those fights get less and less fun as everything starts breaking down. And we've been fighting for over 20 years, but it doesn't show. Like he still looks like he would be a top guy, unfortunately. So Jack Della Maddalena's off the card.
too bad.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. Denise Gomez versus Yasmin somebody. I've never even heard of either of them.
Nope.
I don't know.
How do you even pronounce that name?
Yeah, I'm not going to try. Alonzo Menefield and Jimmy Crute, though. That's good. Jimmy Crute, another Australian guy, and Alonzo Menefield is just a giant, scary guy.
Yeah.
Tons of power, and I think he's been doing good his last few, whereas Jimmy Crute he floats around like that top 10 spot. He's been around for a bit, but I don't feel like it's been like he just hasn't broken through, and he's had the time to break through, had some big fights, but do you guys remember who he was fighting when he got calf kicked and he got that dead foot, and I think he ended up getting TKO'd off of it. Hey, click on Jimmy Crute's name. Yeah, I think it actually will tell you. It's like his last. Oh no.
View profile, full profile.
Oh yeah, view. Click on that. Go down to the blue words.
He's had quite a few UFC fights, I think.
Yeah, he's been around for a bit. So, Jamal Hill.
Was a draw against Alonzo Menefield.
No, that's. I wonder how it came to a draw. I thought that was just his upcoming fight, but yeah, draw. I wonder what happened. But it had to have been a foul or something, or surely they didn't go to an actual draw. But yeah, I lost to Jamal Hill and Anthony Smith. Man, Anthony's one of those guys too. Like he turned into a 50-50 fighter, and I don't think there's any climbing back up for him. What's that third one down? Bukakis? Yeah, don't click on it. Is that? He has an older brother in the heavyweights.
Not sure. Never even heard of the name.
So I mean, even the guys he's fighting like aren't even all that great. So he's fought like the big names he's fought and he's lost to, unfortunately. Yeah. Go down a little bit more. Does they say other stuff on him? No. All right, go back to the fight card. I gotta go Alonzo Menefield. He's been doing real good. I feel like click on Alonzo's profile. Yeah. And then so. Misha Serkinov, that's a pretty good win, even though I'm pretty sure he cut down in weight. And he looks really weird now. He has like one weird arm, and it's like tiny and shriveled up, and he has that one big arm. I don't know what happened to him.
That is strange.
William codename Knight, but he lost to him. That guy's a little like powerhouse too, though. Ed Herman. Yeah, I got to go with Alonzo Menefield. I feel like they want Jimmy Crute to be really good, and I think it's just trying to like, since they have those Australian and like New Zealand champions, they're trying to like you jump on the wave. Oh yeah, and the guy can't surf, you know. So. All right.
Terrence Mitchell's on the early prelims.
They got his name up there finally.
Yes, sir.
No picture though.
It's our boy.
Yep. So Vitor Petrino. I don't even know. Victor Petrino. I don't even know who that is.
Nope.
I don't know who the other guy is.
Nope.
So, yeah. Who cares about those guys? Yeah. I think we all got it. I'm going, obviously, with Terrence Mitchell.
Yes, sir.
Been in this for a long time. So they started either at the same time as me or right after me, and then we all basically got into it together. So that was 14 years ago. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Terrence was on The Ultimate Fighter, too. But yeah, but this would be his first real UFC fight and on one of the biggest cards of the year. So I mean that'd be huge. So got to go Terrence on that. I know I've seen Cameron Simon fight before. I'm undefeated. So I mean, a great guy. I don't know if he was on The Ultimate Fighter or what. Like I don't know how his name stands out to me and how I remember him. But
yeah, I remember seeing his name somewhere.
Yeah. All right, go down.
He was on that one card where he kept on kicking that guy in the nuts and then poking in the eye. And he did it like 3 times each to that one guy.
The Cameron Simon guy did it?
Yeah, I remember I think it was on the John Jones prelims.
Hey, click on his profile. Let's see. I don't know who any of the other guys are. So.
I remember you got home and I told you about it.
All right.
Yep, Jones versus Gone.
Okay. Oh, Martin. Oh, the Asian guy. He has like a cool mohawk. That's funny. And he was kicking the Asian guy?
Yeah, he poked him in the eye like 2 or 3 times and then kicked him in the nuts like twice.
Man, I do remember that.
And
that's
then-
you gotta like call that fight, right?
Yeah.
Got the dub.
I feel like with
He got like 2 points back to
with
the-
fouls, like they warn him in the back, right? Like, all right, like, you know, watch your fingers and do this, watch your kicks, like you're in control of your weapons.
Yeah.
That's your warning.
Yeah,
Like
I
if you
agree.
poke someone in a fight, like that's the point right there.
Yeah.
Do better, bro. If you kick someone in the nuts, that's a point. Do
Yeah.
better. Like, hey, if you can't control it, like I get it, like everyone's moving around and all this, but hey, do better. Don't throw kicks.
Yeah.
Or get more
Don't
points
throw
taken
inside
away.
kicks, you know?
Yeah.
Don't
Like,
grab the fence.
yeah, don't. Hey, that's a point immediately. Like, and not
That
just like
saved Leon Edwards.
yeah. Who else? It saved Josie Aldo in the Chad Mendes fight. Like, and that was going to be a big takedown. But like, I feel like a foul like that should just be an automatic point. And I hate when like the commentators are like, oh, don't take a point for that or something. Like, no, you guys should be with that. Like,
Yeah.
like,
You should just take a point for everything and it all even out. You know?
yeah, like,
I don't know. Personally, I think if you get kicked in the nuts twice, it should just be done.
yeah,
Right?
hey, yeah. Like, and I don't care if like it was just like, hey, this is a no contest, it's a disqualification or what, but I mean, getting kicked in the nuts once is bad enough.
Yeah.
Getting poked in the eye is bad enough.
Yeah.
Like, if you have, let's say, 2 fouls, like, man, I don't know, like, something's big's got to happen.
Yeah.
Like, or they're just going to keep doing it, you know?
I think the eye pokes are the worst, though. I'd rather.
I'd rather get kicked in the nuts,
than-
like, but I mean, I say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, like, you're going to regret any answer you gave. You'd be like, I wish it was the other one right now.
Yeah.
Right. Man,
Wind up
so-
like Kiwi.
yeah, that's a tough one. Like, you could lose one, but you could go blind too. You could turn into Michael Bisping. That guy has literally only one eye that works. You know?
Don't want to be no Bisping.
Man, you see those pictures? Like, I think I guess not the last one because I didn't watch it, but last weekend someone got poked in the eye and it went like knuckle deep and like their eye was bleeding. They had to call the fight.
Yeah, I remember that one.
No, I didn't
Was
see
that the
that
main?
one.
I don't. Is that the main event or co-main?
I might have been Coleman.
Can go to schedules. I just want to see who was on that card.
I remember that guy's eye bleeding though.
Yeah, and it looked like it was on the outside, but like it scraped out and went in. Go to all. Yeah, go to UFC, but you might be able to click.
Yeah, it was like right in the beginning too.
No. I see the computer website's so much different than like the phone. Go to 2023. You can try 2022. I don't think it'll work. Oh yeah, Cannoneer. No, that was sorry, that was actually last year. So yes, I don't know. It's not going to show us. Actually, hey, go to Google and type in UFC schedule.
So you think they'd show everything for the year?
You'd think, yeah.
What do you think about the UFC Fight Pass Invitational, real quick?
Oh yes, I want to talk about that. I was happy. So as I was saying, like, oh, this guy beat Craig Jones by game the rules, or this rule set you can game the rules, and then you can get to the end. So go, yes, Emmett versus Taporia. So obviously it wasn't the main event. Amanda Hebos versus Macy. Oh yeah, it was the Justin Taffa one because Justin Taffa got poked in the eye, and you could tell like he wanted to continue, but
He couldn't open his
like
eye.
couldn't open his eye for the most part,
That's
and
so
his eye
messed
was
up.
bleeding.
Yeah, that's-
like, you know, like I get like you're a tough guy, but you might be blind.
you
bro.
might be too tough for your own good.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. So the Fight Pass Invitational. Craig Jones is like, that's the guy for me.
Yeah.
Like everything he does, you know, like his game goes like right into what my game is, from doing like just those guards, throwing in leg locks, but then just doing stupid submissions. I was like, that's everything I'm about. But then when he like, and you could tell he was just gaming it. He's like, I'm just gonna get to overtime and beat you in overtime. I was pretty bummed by that. But even in overtime, it was there was times when he could have finished him. Like he had the choking arm in, and he just didn't like commit to locking it up. And I don't know if it was just because they're friends, and maybe not even friends, but they trained together for Felipe had the Gordon match. So I don't know if that had something to do with it, but I was kind of bummed by that.
Yeah.
Nicky Rod's the man. Not even a huge Nicky Rod fan. I don't like listening to him talk. Like he tries too hard to be like, I'm great.
Yeah.
And like I'm the best there is. I look like a model and stuff like that.
I'm natty.
And we're like, none of you guys are, right? Like, one, you're much smaller than you were at ADCC. Craig, he jokes about being on steroids, but I think it's one of those jokes where like, oh yeah, I'm on steroids, and he's being nonchalant about it, like thinking people are like, oh, he's just joking. Like, no, he's being serious.
No,
he
he's
just makes it
actually
sound
on
like a joke.
steroids, yeah.
Because he was also huge at ADCC.
Yeah.
To where he's much smaller now. I thought that Nicky Rod versus Big Dan match in the final was same thing. You could tell they're just kind of getting to overtime. Nicky Rod got some good body lock passes.
Yeah.
Went to mount and immediately got out of mount, and then just kind of went back to passing, which is good. I'm sure, all their guards are hard to pass at that level. But in the overtime, like, he almost got his arm broken twice. And that first one, to get out of that arm bar that was fully locked in.
Terrified,
and it was fully locked in for a good 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And I was impressed. So that was great. I was bummed that Heisem lost.
Yeah, I was too.
They had, and I think that, what's that wrestler's name? He has 3 names. But he's like a D1 champion out of college. He came and fought Alex Perez, who was a flyweight in the UFC. And I think he won it by like a decision.
I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
I thought Glover and Anthony Smith was on the card.
That was good. Yeah, that was good.
I hated the rule set.
Yeah, it was 3 rounds.
Did you watch it?
No.
So it was like more MMA style as far as like the time goes. It was 3 4-minute rounds.
Yeah, it's something weird like that.
And like I'm saying, it with submission underground. 5 minutes isn't enough to get like a real game going and start like finding these openings. 4 minutes is even less. And if no one won at the end of the matches, I think they picked a winner.
By like
and it was Glover, but Glover, like, obviously, like, after the first round, steamrolled him. Just got him in mount and just smashed him the entire time. Passed his guard, smashed him from top half, and then I think he got him into mount and just kind of smashed him. And Anthony Smith is one of those guys, like, if he is winning a fight, like, he looks great. If it's competitive, he's looking great, he's in it. But as soon as it starts going downhill, he just like crumbles. He stays in it and has like the too tough for your own good thing and has like all the heart in the world.
Yeah.
But you could tell he gave up, and it's just strictly defending now. So that was kind of a bummer to watch that happen in a grappling match. But that was a fun card, though.
Oh yeah, it was cool. It was good to watch.
So man, what time are we at right now?
An hour and 12.
Hour and
actual time?
No, how long we've been going. Shit. So like we went before, there's 3 promotions coming at least back soon. 2 going on, one going on right now with Solid as a Rock, but I don't think the next card's till October, right?
Yeah.
October is going to be a big month because that's like...
Is Ace come back then also?
Yeah, Ace.
I thought Ace was going to be back in August.
They might be doing a summer card, yeah.
And then AFC soon. It's coming anyways. So soon we'll have 3 promotions going, though all of them take time off. Though it would be nice to see them somehow, and I probably can't see it happening, but like working together, but like, all right,
coordinate
so like
times off.
A couple months there's maybe some overlapping where there's 2 shows going maybe, or coordinate it so like, because you guys all want to take breaks, right? Like all the promotions, the fighters, like, does any fighter want like a 6-month break?
No,
right? Like
really.
They're like, that's kind of a little much, especially like if you got injured and you couldn't fight on the one card. Or one of these cards, you get injured, and now that fighter has a 9-month long break or a year-long break.
Or if you're Solid as a Rock, it's like a year long because they only do cards twice a year.
Is it twice? Yeah. So like, have those. Man, Ace comes on and puts on cards from here to there, and then AFC comes back and puts on cards the other ones. So maybe there's a couple months of the year where there's nothing going on, but it gives like Alaska just a year-long or year-round outlet for like
June,
these
July
people to get fights in.
Perfect months to just take the break.
That would be good, yeah. Like the peak season, July, August, maybe, whatever it might be. Because then even Thursday night the fights, they take breaks too, right? There's a season for them.
They only are opened up during the winter.
Is that it?
I think they close up shop at like what, December?
Yeah, they usually start in October. And then I don't know when they. Probably like December.
And then Solid as a Rock, they're putting on like other types of fights too. They're doing like boxing or like Muay Thai or kickboxing.
They do boxing. I think they only do MMA and boxing.
Okay.
As far as I've seen, they might do some Muay Thai
they did like a kickboxing one. I thought she posted something that she was looking for a fighter, but it could have been boxing or MMA. I know that Billy from Ace puts out those ones a lot, so he's putting on like a wide range of things, which I think's great.
Yeah, he does the boxing, the Muay Thai.
Like that's how you're gonna get these new people in. Like if you like even Thursday at the fights, they do boxing and MMA. Like if
they're doing Muay Thai now too.
That's great.
Jared got that going. They're gonna try and do Muay Thai stuff now.
Nice.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And then I would love to see like one or two of these promotions put on like grappling. When I had Sarah, like just a grappling match, you know, Sarah talked about maybe doing it like during intermissions, which I think would be pretty cool.
I think that'd be cool, yeah.
But she was pretty adamant on like, I run a fight promotion, not anything else promotion. I was like, hey, totally respect it. And she was like, maybe during intermissions. So I was like, that'd be great. Because, you know, I don't want to get up and go to the bathroom when 1,000 other people are going to the bathroom. I want something like, and I need something to keep me like visually like stimulated.
That's what they did at Salt as a Rock. They had a couple of like the youth wrestlers come and do like a youth wrestling match.
Wrestling's fun to watch. So yeah, something like that would be cool. So I mean, as I reach out to these people to get them like on, like just throwing that out, like if we could work something out, I mean, I'll reach out to these people and get like people for you or do something. But I think it'd be fun to just get one more sport in your guys' shows, and it's just going to bring you more viewers and another audience that you might not get. Because a lot of jiu-jitsu people, I know a ton of jiu-jitsu people that don't even watch MMA. Yeah. If they're not watching that, they're certainly not watching boxing. Yeah. You know, like get these more people in the door. It's like all it's going to do is help you. And if you did it during intermissions, it's not going to hurt you at all. No. Right?
Like, it's not going to stop your fight fans from watching it because you're not taking fights off the card.
And if you don't want to watch it, go to the bathroom or go get your nachos and come back when it's over or whatnot, or just don't pay attention to it.
Yeah, sit on your phone.
But it's going to get you more people through the door.
Get some exciting guys in there too, because you're not going to just have people like in there trying to hold, you know, get the pan, you know. It's going to be just more like a fun.
Yeah, and tell them to leave their gis at home. It'll be no gi. It'll be fun and exciting to watch. And like I said, it's just trying to bring in more viewers for these people. Oh yeah. So it'd be fun. So 3 promotions coming up. Anything you're working on now? I know we talked about you wanted to challenge for the 135-pound belt. Have you talked to anybody about it? Have they reached out to you, or what's going on with that?
No, I mean, like personally, I wouldn't want to be fighting somebody who has like, you know, is like on a big losing streak. So I'm looking at more like top level guys, like Ashton Brenner. He just won the belt out in, you know, Fairbanks. Mm-hmm. So, you know, he would be up on that list, stuff like that.
Yeah. He was supposed to come on last week, bailed last minute, completely heartbroken. So we're going to be hoping you get that match.
Gotcha. Yeah, that'd be cool. And then I think there's I haven't, because I fought out in Kenai before too at Power Plant Productions. So
Okay.
I don't know how often they do.
Yeah.
How often they do fights and stuff. But,
do you know who puts that on?
No, I'm not sure who the actual promoter is, but it was Power Plant Productions.
Okay. If anyone knows who puts that on, reach out and let me know. I'd love to reach out to them and talk to them.
Cool. Yeah, and I would like to know their schedule and stuff too. Yeah. So, but yeah, anywhere I could get a belt, I'd like the AFC belt, but no, you know.
Yeah, I got to reach back out to her, try to get her back on, and hopefully at least get some dates, and we can announce some dates and see what's going on with that, because obviously, like it's been away for a while. Like, I don't know what their plan is with like the belt system on that. Like if these old people who had the belts are still fighting, if they're going to come back and just get them right back. I just say you put them all up for grabs and just have these guys fight for it.
Yeah, I think it'd be the best. Track too. I feel like I never really know who has the belt.
Yeah.
You know, around, but
didn't Terrence have a belt?
I think he did. Yeah. I think that'd be the best thing to do is like you just have say from 125 up to heavyweight. And every match on your card's a title fight. And just figure out who these champs are and just make it all title fights. Like make it a big show when he comes back. And then in intermissions, you put grappling on.
Yeah.
So, man, we hope you get that. Anything we can do to stay up to date, social medias, if you just want to tell people how they can follow you, where you're training, if they want to, like, you know, get some training with you, whether it's like grappling classes or whatnot. I'm sure you guys are pretty picky about who does MMA with you guys and striking classes. But, where are you training? How can we follow you and find out what's going on?
I think my Instagram is going to be my main, you know, function for that. So you could just add me on Instagram. I think I'm going to start posting more things, you know,
Nice.
leading up to fights.
Yeah.
You know, just trying to stay more active on there.
Right on. And what's the Instagram name?
Well, Nicholas Harrington, and then it is the Strangler, AK Strangler.
Right on. And that's the nickname?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've changed up my nickname a couple times. They call me Tricky Nicky at Thursday night fights.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm just trying to kind of find one that fits. But
Yeah. I'll make one up for you.
yeah, make one up.
And then training at a grappling academy
Anchorage
and
Grappling Academy.
full time, right? Not going anywhere else, cross training, anything like that?
No, I'd like to, but I just, you know, not enough time. So I'll just, you know, bike and do some extra stuff like that.
Yeah.
When I'm in the gym, you know, 4 hours a day.
Right on.
You know.
4 hours.
Yeah, it's
Damn,
usually so.
good for you.
I leave work. I get off work at 4, and then I go to the gym, and I'm there, you know, till like 9 some nights.
Damn, good for you, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when you have the time to do it, right?
Yep. And I'd like to stay more active, you know, but getting the promotions going. But you know, I'd love to fight in Florida or like Arizona or you know, somewhere down in the States too. You know,
Yeah.
There's nothing going on here. But
Do you set up your own fights? Do you have a manager or anything like that? Or is it just all you doing it?
yeah, usually like I'll get like fight offers, and then I'll talk with my coach, you know, Josh, about it, and then we'll just, you know, game plan from there. Because I really like, I'll fight anybody. I've been fighting, you know, from heavyweight, you know, down to lightweight. So
I have a bunch of people I train with in Florida. Like they're pretty connected to Dean Toole, who puts on Island Fights and Game Bread and stuff like that. I wonder if I could reach out to them and see about something down there.
Oh, yeah,
As I said, they're pretty well connected down there as far as all that stuff goes.
Yeah.
So that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
they
that'd be
got some good fighters down there.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. They have some great MMA fighters out of the gym I was at Remedy, right outside of Pensacola in Milton, Florida. But yeah, man, great guys there. And like I said, going to a whole different state was eye-opening. So just to see like the level of talent elsewhere and like where you stack up. So it was really fun. So Amy, we hope you get something. Kevin, where can they find you?
I'm on Instagram at the Alaskan Scum. That's pretty much where I do all my cool stuff at.
Yep. Also out of Grappling Academy.
Yes, sir.
So check them out. They're there. Of course, you know, in the mornings at Legacy and open mats all around town on the weekends. Mediocre Grappler on Instagram and Facebook, or Mark A. Robinson II. Obviously, the podcast, if you're watching, it's on YouTube. And if you just want to listen to it, it's on Spotify. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks, guys, for coming in.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us.
Awesome, yeah.